News that's breaking this minute, a decision that has been taken by the DGCA in deciding to suspend 2 Jet Airways pilots. This because after they flew with only 270 liters of fuel, and that technically does mean near empty fuel tank. They were taking a flight from Doha to Kochi on the 18th of August. They put 150 lives at risk. Paulami Saha with more details there. Paulami, what more can you get us on this?
Well, basically, this was a flight between Doha to Kochi. The Jet Airways pilots have been suspended because they landed with about 270 kilos of fuel at the time of landing. They should have had much more than that. They had gone into the reserve fuel already. If you're flying a Boeing 737 between Doha Kochi sector, for instance, then you have to have at least 1,500 kilos of fuel, regular fuel for flying purposes, and then you have to have a reserve fund of fuel as well. Merely parking a Boeing 737 could consumes about 150 to 200 kilos of fuel. So they definitely were running very low on fuel, and this at a time when they were facing bad weather at the time of landing in Kochi. The pilot could not sight the runway at that point of time, as a result of which he attempted 3 go-arounds over Kochi Airport, 3 go-arounds over Thiruvananthapuram Airport before he finally landed in Kochi again. This again an error of judgment, because the alternate, if he wasn't being able, the pilots weren't being able in fact to land in Kochi, they should have just taken the first alternate to land in Bengaluru Airport, which they did. So there were several practices that were completely, shelved by these pilots at the time of landing. So the DGCA has taken note of this incident. It has called it a very serious incident and has reported the matter to the investigation wing of the DGCA. Meanwhile, is also checking as to why were they running so low on fuel. They're looking at Jet Airways fuel policy as well, in order to see if Jet Airways is actually running, flying aircraft on low fuel in order to save costs.
But Paulami, is there a word of defense here that's coming in from these 2 pilots who've been suspended on why they really decide to fly on low fuel?
Well, we're waiting to hear from Jet Airways as to what is the explanation that they've received from the pilots as of now. But DGCA definitely doesn't see any, the sort of any reason to cut them any slack as far as this incident is concerned, because they put 150 people's lives at risk, which included 6 crew members and the 2 pilots themselves. So as many people as 150 were at risk because they took a chance.